Right, I like to say Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. Obadiah 1 and 8, shall not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise man out of Edom, and the understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Timon, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of Salakia, every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob's shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off. Right, because these devils are violent. If you go into 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, the scriptures tell you that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning that follow it now. If you look throughout the earth today, right, you got GMO foods, you got fruits covered in pesticides, which is actually harmful to the body. You got chemtrails, which is a metallic material that people are inhaling, right, which causes damage to the lungs and other organs that's in the body, right? The GMO foods that he's feeding you in the foods that comes fresh off these factory farms or whatever you want to call them. He's pumping these animals up with many chemicals. Not only that, but the hormones, the stress hormones that come out of these animals. We eat these things. So Esau causes a lot of hell upon the earth. He causes that is essentially violence towards really you so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans, because that's who he aiming at. I brought up this movie before in a video, which is called The Clone of Tyrone. And remember when Jamie Foxx and the other two was in the restaurant, and the one guy, the main character, I forget his Tyrone. I think his name was Tyrone. Of course, they cloned Tyrone, but Tyrone started to laugh because he found out he was cloned and everything like that, and they was trying to come up with a plan and all that, and then they got to laughing. So when he got to laughing, they were laughing, and then she stopped laughing and noticed that Jamie Foxx and Tyrone just kept laughing. But what was causing them to do that was the stuff they was putting in the foods. So it goes to show you in that movie that they're showing you that they put things in a food that is actually harmful to the body, because it really was harmful to the body. So these devils, they're nothing but violent, man. They cause nothing but violence on the earth. Shit, look how they got America. How did they get America? Right? By slaughtering the Hispanics and Native Americans. Right? How did America become established? Through slavery. Or what you would call, how did America become prosperous? Through slavery by way of the so-called blacks. Right? So the scriptures tell you, for thy Obadiah 1 and 10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Let's get Matthew's 11 and 12. The scripture says, let me start up at let me start up at 11. I'll start up at 10. It says, I'll start up at 9. Salakia. But what went ye out for to see? A prophet, yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of woman, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth. Now, who is the kingdom of heaven? We are the kingdom of heaven. We are the temple. We are the kingdom of heaven. The scripture says, for the kingdom of heaven is within us, right? You Israelites. So it says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven, which are you Israelites, suffereth violence. Who will we suffer in violence by during that period of time? The Roman Empire. If you go to Luke 21 and 24, that talks about the Roman Empire, but also the other nations. So we were being prosecuted by the Romans during this period of time, which were who? Edomites. Look up the book that's called Who is Esau Edom? And it gets to them being the Romans. But we can prove that they are the Romans by way of the scriptures. It says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. So you so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans suffereth violence by way of the Edomite, by way of Esau Edom. Right? That's why the scriptures talk about judgment coming down upon Esau for taking violence against thy brother Jacob. Right? And Obadiah 1 and 10. It says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. Right? So let's get this real quick. This is the book of Micah. What is that? Micah 2 and 12. Micah 2 and 12. I think it's Micah 2. Let's see here. Salakia is Micah 6 and 12, but I'm going to also grab this. Micah 2, and I start up at 1. It says, woe means destruction to them that devise means to plan iniquity, and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence. Right? They took this land by violence. They committed violence against you so-called blacks, right, and Hispanics. So there's no way in hell you can say that this man is not a violent, that this man and his people are not a violent people. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man and his inheritance. Hey, go ahead and not pay your rent. Go ahead and miss out on paying your rent. I'm not saying not pay your rent purposely. I'm saying, let's say you don't make the efficient amount of money that you need to make it in order to pay your rent. What did they'll do? They'll come and give you an eviction notice and have the police take you out by violence. Would they not? So you can't even have peace in your own damn household without these devils coming through and overruling what's going on, right? So Micah chapter 6 verse 12 says, for the rich men, which they are the witch of the earth. You can read that in the book of Job 3, Job 20. It talks about the rich man. You can read that in where it talks about he giveth his inheritance unto his children. I think that's Psalm 7. I could be wrong. But it says, for the rich men, therefore, are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. There's no doubt about it that this is referring to you devils, you Esau, Edom. But it also refers to you so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans, because it really talks about y'all. But in twofold, it refers to Esau, Edom as well, right? So let's get this in right. So we're gonna grab the book of Isaiah 59 and 6. Let me see here. Right, so this is really talking about you so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans, but twofold, we can also put it towards Esau, Edom. So Isaiah 59 and 6, their web shall be not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their work. Their works are works of iniquity, and the act of violence is in their hand. Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. wasting and destruction are in their path. Dang. This is crazy. Look at this. Hey, look at this. It says, the way of peace they know not. It says, the way of peace they know not. And there is no judgment in their goings. They made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. There you go. You're not going to know peace dealing with these devils. If these devils ain't at war with the other nations, these devils are at war domestically. By taking money from you people, by robbing you by way of taxes, right? Raising up the prices on everything, whether if it's a car, your house, you got to pay a high APR, right? Yeah, you got to pay a high, what is it called? You got to pay a high percentage on a lot of things that you decide to get, especially if you get some credit cards. You get credit cards, you get a vehicle. The APR is ridiculous, man. Right on, and don't let your ass take out a loan. You might be paying that loan for a good 6-7 years, depending on how much you take out. Right? So again, it says their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, wasting and destruction are in their path. The way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked path. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. And like the scriptures tell you, that which the Lord have made crooked cannot be made straight. So I'm going to end it from there and say, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash, the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'd like to say Shalom.